Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good afternoon. My name is Volans, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As you can tell, this is the Metroid Prime logo. Well, we're starting a new Let's Play series. Actually, we're starting our first. So, I've been told by people that you should start out slow, get your subscriber base up, and then start making the big videos. But I think that's foolish. I think you need to show your viewers what you have to offer right off the bat, so that they know what they can expect. And that's what I think I'm going to do. So I'm going to start out big. I'm going to start out with a game that I am very well familiar with, Metroid Prime. So that's exactly what we're going to do. This is the first episode in a very long Let's Play series for Metroid Prime for the Nintendo GameCube, played on a Dolphin emulator with a Nintendo controller. Wow, I need help. With an Xbox 360 controller. So I'd like to stress that this is Metroid Prime version 1.0.2. which means that this is not the version where you can sequence break. Even if I were to play that version, I would not sequence break. So this is the version where some of those major bugs, like the sequence break, are fixed. So this is going to be a simple, traditional, kind of relaxed, laid-back playthrough of Metroid Prime. This is not going to be a speedrun video. I've actually never speedrun this game before. Speedrunned? I don't know. Never actually done a speedrun of this game before. And this is also not going to be 100%. I'm capable of doing it 100%. However, I've never really been a completionist when it comes to games. I'm the kind of person who, like, I play it and I get it done. And then when I'm ready, I go back to it, because it has that replay value. If it doesn't have that replay value, I don't play it. So this is just going to be a traditional game playthrough of Metroid Prime. I'm going to be trying to go through it quick, so I might not get a lot of the, I might not get very far in the percentage, but I am going to 100% complete this game in the way of story. So I'm going to defeat the final boss before this series is over. That much I can say. But I'm not going to be collecting, like, lore or any of that. I might, but probably not to the extent that some of you completionists might be looking for. I'm hoping about each episode, I don't know about how long each episode will go for. I'm shooting for about 20 minutes. This video is going to be exceptionally long because I'm talking through this, and we're going to be doing the Space Pirate Frigate, if you don't know what it is. So, just to save on time, so we don't have to, wait or you guys don't have to watch this video for too long, and I don't have to record this for too long, I'm going to get started right away. So, when it comes to storyline, this game is jam-packed and full of story. As you can see here, unidentified distress beacon has been tracked to Space Pirate Frigate Orpheon in orbit above Talon 4. So, when it comes to storyline, I'm going to be giving like a basic explanation of it as I go along. I'm not going to spoil everything right off the bat. I'm not going to spoil anything at all, really, unless you haven't played this game before. In which case, I highly suggest that you go ahead and play this game before you watch this video. And I think I just now realized that this gigantic spaceship is surrounded by a giant planet in the background, and the space surrounding it is actually a square. I think I just now noticed that. Like, if you look very carefully, excuse this audio glitch, by the way, I don't know what this is. I've never been able to figure out what this is. Anyway, if you look carefully, you can actually see some of the seams where the square like starts to go the other direction. They did a very good job at hiding it, though, I'll give them that. Yeah, I don't know what this glitch with the audio is. And it even decreases the frame rate. I don't know what this is. Anyway, so I'm going to be playing this game in 1920 by 1080p with 60 frames per second, which is what the game was built for, not the resolution. It was built for, like, I think 240 or something. But the frame rate was 60 frames per second. So that's what I'm going to be doing this in. But I am going to be playing this in 1920 by 1080p for the most part. I can't guarantee that it will stay like that for the entirety of this series. When we get to some like really glitchy parts, I might have to like change the resolution to 720. Still HD nonetheless, but it won't be the full 1080p that you guys were expecting. As I said before, I'm playing this on why do I keep wanting to say Nintendo? I'm playing this on an Xbox 360 controller. Unfortunately, I was stupid, I was ignorant, just not very bright, and I decided to buy an off-brand, not like a name brand, like not a Microsoft brand 360 controller, so, not gonna lie, the joysticks are kind of sticky, but I've kind of learned to get over that. I've gotten better with it, I've kind of learned to, like, work with it. But, yeah. And also, the one thing I noticed about, like, the Dolphin port to it, from the GameCube to Dolphin, is that before I used to be able to hold the L button, which used to lock on to things, so you can, like, hold right here and then, like, hold L and it would lock on and stay in place. I can't do that now. So I used to be able to hold L like I'm doing right now, and I used to, like, move left and right with the joystick and be able to strafe. I can't do that now. I don't know why. But if I do lock onto something, which I can't right now, but if I can lock onto something, I can actually strafe when I'm locking on. But I don't know what that is. It's a little annoying because I used to strafe a lot. And in case you're wondering why I'm not playing this on the Nintendo GameCube, I don't actually have a capture card. I would probably do this on the GameCube if I had a capture card. Unfortunately, or because the frame rate's kind of screwed up periodically, like right here. I've had problems in my test playthroughs where, like, right about here, frame rate drops. I didn't do it that time for some reason, but like periodically the frame rate would drop like crazy, and I'd have to deal with that. But that's why I will eventually switch to like 720p if I end up having frame rate issues. But hopefully I don't have that problem. Anyway. So as I was saying before, this is the second time I've actually played Metroid Prime. I played it a lot when I was a kid. Unfortunately, I never actually finished the game. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was when I was 5 years old when I was playing this game. I actually got it with the Nintendo GameCube. My dad was nice enough to purchase. I think it was. Don't quote me on this, and you know, somebody can like either back me up on this or, you know, correct me. But my dad bought it with the Mario Kart Double Dash game, and he also bought it with Metroid Prime. So he bought Metroid Prime separate, but also, like, when the Nintendo GameCube came out, he bought it with the bundle pack of, like, Double Dash, which he's pretty much always done. I don't know why. It's kind of expensive. Anyway. He's always kind of done stuff like that. Anyway. And I always grew up with the 1.0.2 version of this game, which fixed the, I forgot the name of it already. Sequence breaking. Ugh. It kind of like broke, not broke, it fixed the sequence breaking so that you couldn't sequence break anymore, which kind of bummed me. Oh, now I can strafe. See, now I can strafe. This is what strafing looks like. I can only do it after I lock on to enemies or something like that. What in the hell is that? Is that Vignette? I don't know what that is. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, now I can't strafe. Anyway. Talking out my ass. Anyway. I played this game on the Nintendo GameCube version, which was the version that came with the Metroid Prime 2 bonus demo disc. I used to play the heck out of those two. Unfortunately, I never got very far into this game. I really only got to like Chozo Ruins and I quit. Because this game used to always scare me. I used to have nightmares of the space pirates constantly. I don't really remember what they were about, I just remember me constantly having nightmares with the space pirates. And so, eventually my dad got sick and tired of me, continuing to play the game, but keep complaining about the nightmares. So he took the game away so I could stop playing it, and hid it in my closet. And he said that once I was tall enough to reach the game, I could play it again. Which means I did not pick the game back up until I was probably, I think like 15, 14 maybe. But every time that I played this game as a kid, I got to Chozo Ruins and I quit. It's not necessarily just the scary part that got me and like stopped me from playing. I think it was a lot more than that. I think it was the scare factor, and I'm probably going to cover this a little bit in my retrospective. How's that guy up there? I'm probably going to eventually cover this in my retrospective video, but I can never really pinpoint what exactly the problem was, but like I think it was due to the non-linearity that Metroid Prime was built upon. Excuse me. I was always without direction, so I never really knew quite what to do. Like, the game never really told me what I needed to, I don't need to save. Told me what I needed to do, so I didn't really have a clue what to do, so I was just wandering around aimlessly. And so I think that's one of the reasons I eventually quit, is because I had no direction. So I couldn't really play the game, couldn't really get into it. I probably played the game up to Chozo Ruins like 5 or 6 times. And then when I finally got to the age where I found the game again, I was probably around like 14 or 15, I got to Phazon Mines, and the Phazon Mines creeped me out to the point where, again, I had to put the game down. I didn't pick it back up until I was probably about 15 or 16, when I rebooted it up, jumped straight into Phazon Mines, beat Phazon Mines, went through everything, and beat the game. And, I started summer vacation of last year, I believe. Yeah, summer vacation of last year. I started working on playing the game again, and I went through the whole game and beat it. Went through the whole game and beat it again, and that was just, it really made me remember why I loved this game. Anyhow. And so I'm playing it again, playing it in the Dolphin emulator. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully it goes well. I don't really know. I haven't done a test playthrough of this. I started working on a test playthrough, kind of, to like kind of test out how Dolphin was gonna work. I got up to, for those of you who actually know what the hell I'm talking about, for those of you who don't, I'm sorry, I got up to the, beetle, I can't remember what it's called, it's just a beetle as far as I know, that gives you the morph ball upgrade, and, excuse me, I guess, anyway. I got through that, and I was having some, latency, not latency, I was having some lag issues with FPS, I didn't really know why. I was trying to use some, post-processing effects to see if I liked them, see if they worked. They worked some of the time, other times it just kept dropping my frame rate down for no reason. It really made the game look really beautiful, and I might make a video covering, some of the, post-processing that you can do in Dolphin that really makes Metroid look really good. Shout out to Samus Prime for kind of showing me how that works. He took some like dolphin effects and some other post-processing effects from I can't remember what the program's called. Anyhow, he took a lot of different like post-processing effects and plugged it into Metroid Prime, and it really made the game look beautiful. He also started working on some textures. He basically retextured almost the entirety of Space Pirate Frigate, which is what we're in right now. Anyway, I'll probably show a video sometime in the future concerning like some of the post-processing effects that you can do in Metroid Prime. It really makes the game look good. I'll probably play the game in 1920 if I can with the post-processing effects. I can guarantee you this though, the game's not, or the footage in the video is not going to be super good because it's probably going to be pretty laggy playing it in 1920 by 1080p with post-processing effects out the butt. But it'll mainly just be for show. Anyhow, let's cover briefly enough about like the game and stuff like that. Or not the game, but like enough about like my story behind Metroid Prime and stuff like that. Let's cover the storyline briefly. So the storyline behind Metroid Prime, I'm going to be covering it briefly as I go along. I'm not going to be spoiling anything, so I'm not going to cover like endgame stuff until I get to the endgame. But I will be briefly covering like this part of the storyline as I go along. Oh, I gotta get close to the door, I forgot. So basically, this is Samus Aran, in case you don't know. She's a bounty hunter who works for the Galactic Federation, which is essentially the United States government in space. She's a bounty hunter who goes on these bounties and tries to, like, kill different, like, enemies, and every single time she seems to destroy a planet. I don't know why. Anyway, she, in this game, she intercepted a distress beacon from a space pirate frigate, Orpheum, which is in orbit above Talon 4. She finds out that, through data logs and whatnot on the ship, she finds out that the space pirate frigate Orpheum, oh my god, I hate this cutscene, I'll explain it later. The space pirate frigate Orpheum, has been mutating, monsters, native to Talon 4, like, Metroids and, parasites. Excuse me, man, I keep burping. They've been mutating these space pirates, who are essentially the, is like ISIS to the United States government. They have been working on mutating their own kind and other native monsters to from Talon 4 with this material that is very powerful and has very, like, powerful, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, properties to it, and it has been making these monsters extremely powerful. And they plan on using it against Samus Aran and the Galactic Federation to see if they can, like, kill them and, like, destroy their plans and all of that. So they've been mutating these monsters with Phazon, and so Samus uncovers it, and as she finds out through data logs and all of the dead space troopers, pirate troopers that are around, scattered all over the space pirate frigate, they were injecting this parasite, which was native to Talon 4, with Phazon, which is the material that they found on Talon 4. They've been injecting them they injected the parasite with this Phazon, and the parasite began to attack the troopers and attack the spaceship and start to destroy the spaceship. So the pirates began to send out this quest signal, or distress beacon, to other space pirates in order to, like, get some help. So Samus hops in, and during that boss fight that you just saw, that was me fighting the mutated parasite from Talon 4. And what happened was, it was a self-destruct sequence. And the self-destruct sequence happened when the Parasite Queen fell into the reactor core of the ship. And essentially blew the ship up, so she had to escape. And like in every single Metroid game, so it seems like so far, there's always an escape sequence. So Samus had to escape. So that's essentially, the whole Space Pirate video was essentially a tutorial section, teaching you how to use everything in the 3D world that's, you know, fresh and new to Samus, as she's never seen it before, as you've never seen it before, I should say. And then the escape sequence was essentially to test your abilities, to see how good you were at what you needed to do. And so she escaped from the ship, and as she was escaping, she found Ridley. And Ridley has always been Samus's arch nemesis, and she saw what was the mutated version of Ridley, Meta Ridley. Meta Ridley was injected with Phazon, which we don't learn until later, but I'm just going to spoil it now because it's kind of important. Ridley was injected with Phazon and was found in this ship. Samus doesn't know why, but now you do. And so Ridley, excuse me, wow, that was a frame drop. Samus tracked Ridley down to Talon 4. Unfortunately, she lost signal and can't find Ridley anymore. The tracking was lost, and so now she is down here on Talon 4, which you saw was Talon Overworld, to investigate and find Ridley. Anyway, this is that is essentially the basic synopsis, sorts, of what has happened thus far. You don't know any more than that. You uncover more through like data logs and stuff like that. But anyway, this is Talon Overworld, which is I think it's the name of criteria. Excuse me. Samus jumps here and is going to look for Ridley, and this looks a lot like Criteria, so I mean, you got the rain, you got the green, jungle kind of feel, and she's here going to look for Ridley, and this is where the majority of your story in the beginning takes place. You eventually jump into different locations, but this is where, kind of, the main boss, the final boss is, and you're going to be doing a lot of exploring here, and this is probably my favorite location in Metroid Prime, because it's just so cool, you know? It's such a neat looking place. The rain is cool, and like one of the things that I always liked is if you angle Samus up, you can actually see the raindrops on her visor. Granted, they're a little screwed up on the left-hand side of some of the not bubbles, but drops for some reason. They're like blacked out. I don't know why. It's kind of annoying, but it's just kind of cool the way like the rain like bounces off of Samus's arm cannon. It's just really cool. Anyway, guys, that is the end of this episode. I apologize. It's been a really, really long video, but we needed to get the basic tutorial section out of the way, and I needed to give a basic summary of how the video is going to go, or how the series is going to go from now on. I hope, as for the video at hand, I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please comment if you liked it and liked the video. If you didn't like it, dislike it and comment why. You know, I'm going to be honest with you, I want to know if the video wasn't good. I want to know. So, like, I don't, you know, take any offense. So, constructive criticism is great. Criticism in general is not. But if you want to see more, guys, please subscribe. You know, subscribing is the most important. Anyway, guys, we will be jumping into Talon Overworld in the next video. So you guys take care.